Child Guidance Resource Centers know that whenever they help one child, they aren't just helping them, they're helping that child's family, school, friends, and the community. Here are just a couple of examples of CGRC's ripple effect.
We got a referral on a young man, a 12-year-old boy by the name of Linnell. We were brought in with the usual description of behavior problems and some school problems and things like that. What we found when we got there was that Linnell was one of 9 children, all in a line from the ages of 3 to 12. He was being parented by his single mom, who was a recovering addict. She was living in a house in Chester that had practically no furniture. There were literally holes in the floor where you could see from the second floor down into the first. We were able to begin to make immediate changes to the actual physical environment that the family was living in, which was really important because the children were living in such a situation that counseling in and of itself would not really go that far. So we ended up bringing in people like plumbers, exterminators. We had the house fumigated. We brought in furniture, and we made sure that every kid in the house had a bed. Even though there weren't enough rooms, obviously, for every kid to have a room, we were able to create some sense of structure in the house by making sure that every kid had a bed and a place that belonged to them. I think it's likely that in that case, if we don't get involved and intervene in the way that we do with the different levels of intervention that we can do, children and youth has to get involved. It becomes what they call a neglect case. That many children going into foster care, it's very unlikely that the children and youth system would be able to keep them all together. It means that the kids would have to go into some kind of a placement, probably in 1s and 2s, so the family would be effectively split up. It's likely that the school problems would continue, that the behavior that Linnell was showing at the beginning of our work would escalate and not get better. The impact goes far. It extends to many kids, and it extends to a lot of parts of the system around the system that the children live in. He's doing much better. One of the things that we were able to do is to get all of those kids in our summer camp, which takes what they call a lot of case management. All of the children had to be evaluated. All the children had to be recommended for the camp and so on. All of those kids, that is the ones who are of the age range, are now in the summer camp, which is the first time that any of those kids had a place to go in the summer, and all of them are having a great time. So they're all doing better, partly because of our relationship work between mom and son, but also because they're doing things that they're supposed to be doing as kids, which is getting out of the house, playing, hanging around with other kids, and learning social skills in that way.
My name is Jack Lippard. I'm a district court judge in Pennsylvania. We are the court that is assigned to hear all truancy cases for both public and private schools. When we have a case where it just requires additional time and energy and resources beyond the scope of what the school and the court, and in almost all cases the family, then we then rely on, and we'll do a referral, or a student will be referred by the school district to Child Guidance. That student in turn gets assigned a caseworker. That caseworker takes a individual, not only attention, but personal, from my experience, a direct personal interest in that student. They, on either a daily or an every other day, or depending on what the need is, they will focus on that student. And they, whether it be not just academics, it's what's going on in the house. When it comes to the most difficult students, the talent presented by Child Guidance, that's where it's at.
There was a 13-year-old girl that came to us from Children and Youth, and the referral behaviors were verbal aggression at school and truancy. So when we first got into the home, we were identifying what was really causing that child to be staying home and getting in trouble, and being sent home. There was a lot going on in the family. It was a single mom who had a who was terminally ill. The more we really looked at the issues at school with this child, the reason why she was getting in trouble and not going to school was because she was worried that that day was going to be the last day with mom. If we were not involved to help intervene on some kind of level, the children would have been placed somewhere, not with a family member, because unfortunately at that time there were no supports for mom. So the kids didn't have a place to go, such as a grandma or an aunt, because mom had cut herself off from that. So at the end, the family was hooked up with counseling to deal with mom's terminal illness. Mom was also in a stage of recovery, which also we identified a big part of her addiction was because of the terminal illness, and that's how she was dealing with it. So she was hooked up with some drug and alcohol, intensive outpatient. There was a mentor that was brought into the home to help better prepare mom for what was going to happen with her physically, and how to prepare the children for what was going to be the ultimate outcome, unfortunately, was her death. But there was a big shift in the child's behavior due to those changes that we did with the family. And she was going to school because she felt like mom was being taken care of at that point. And the suspension stopped, and they started getting involved with certain activities, and you started to see all the kids really blossom. And of course, mom blossomed as well, because now she knew that her kids were being taken care of and that she had the permission to take care of herself.
Ripple effects. One change can make a long-lasting difference. Why don't you start the next ripple today? Your gift can help one child, one family, the community, the world. Help us make that difference in the lives of our children.